Today, Russia celebrated the Soviet Union's victory over Nazi Germany in World War II in an annual parade that filled Red Square with military hardware and dozens of foreign leaders. Vladimir Putin once again tied Russia's past triumphs to today's war in Ukraine, and he also further tied Russia's fate to that of China. Here's Nick Schifrin.
In Moscow today, pomp, pageantry, patriotism, a show of force, from the intercontinental missile carriers of the Cold War to the drones of the Ukraine war. Vladimir Putin's Russia ties what many Russians consider their finest moment, victory over Nazi Germany, to today's confrontation with the West. And on display today, what Moscow considers a new world order, an alliance of autocracies led by the leaders of China and Russia, with the help of North Korea, and nearly 30 visiting leaders to help Putin weaponize the past to justify the present.
Russia has been and will continue to be an indestructible wall against Nazism, Russophobia, and anti-Semitism. Truth and justice are on our side. Our whole country, society, and people support the participants of the special military operation.
But left unsaid today, Russia's vulnerabilities to the war in Ukraine. The internet here was jammed, and the stage where dignitaries sat reportedly fitted with a roof to stop drones. Earlier this week, Kyiv launched a record number of drone attacks, overwhelming Russian air defense and closing airports as Putin's guests arrived. Yesterday, Putin and Xi Jinping further cemented what they call their no-limits partnership. They released a joint statement pledging to, quote, decisively counter Washington's dual containment of Russia and China, and demanding a Ukraine settlement, quote, eliminate its root causes, which they mutually defined as Western alliances.
In the face of the countercurrent of unilateralism and the active power politics and bullying in the world, China will join Russia in shouldering a special responsibility and promote an equal and orderly multipolar world.
And that just shows that they're standing back to back and supporting each other in this order that used to be an America-centered, and now it's increasingly up for grabs.
Alexander Gabuyev directs the Carnegie Russia-Eurasia Center and says Xi and Putin cannot be separated and believe time is on their side.
Arrival of Donald Trump brings in itself a lot of unpredictability, but also a lot of opportunities for them. Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin feel very emboldened, and they know that working together is the surest way to deliver this post-Pax Americana, a new multipolar world order where they will be standing tall, dominating their respective regions.
And I say, get this stupid war finished.
President Trump has piled enormous pressure on Ukraine, but most recently, especially after meeting Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky in the Vatican, he has also pressured Russia. Yesterday, President Trump warned the U.S. could, quote, impose further sanctions. And on Wednesday, Vice President Vance described Russian demands as unrealistic.
Right now, the Russians are asking for a certain set of requirements, a certain set of concessions in order to end the conflict. We think they're asking for too much, okay?
To that, top Putin aide Yuri Ushakov shrugged.
Well, yeah, I guess we are disappointing them. They are also disappointing us, maybe even more than we disappoint them.
Vladimir Putin is not interested in a temporary ceasefire because Ukraine can use this time to create facts on the ground, for example, regroup, rearm. Russia's calculus is that Ukraine is still standing, but it's exhausted. And in a war of attrition, a country with more soldiers, more artillery firepower, and more resources can win over time.
Today, European allies tried to buy Ukraine time, providing more aid and creating a legal tribunal to prosecute Putin. And this week, Ukraine's parliament tied its economic future to the U.S., overwhelmingly approving a deal where Ukraine will split future minerals, oil, and gas profits with the U.S. But Putin believes he can outlast Western support for Ukraine and Western sanctions on Russia, says Gabuyev.
Next decade, Vladimir Putin definitely has the problem, but you will need to carry Ukraine forward for the next decade. And the question is whether Ukraine has this time. And I think that the answer is no.
Russia does face economic and military headwinds, but overall, Putin and the war maintain public support as he organizes Russian life around past sacrifice and confrontation with the West. For the PBS NewsHour, I'm Nick Schifrin.